The rain taps against my window, distorting the city lights beyond. I sit cross-legged on my sofa, staring at the single chocolate cupcake on my coffee table. A lone candle flickers in its center, marking my 30th birthday. 30 years old, the big 3-0, and it seems no one remembered. I check my phone for the 10th time, only to see a blank screen reflecting my own disappointment. The clock strikes 8 p.m. With a quiet finality, and something inside me deflates. My milestone birthday has passed without a single acknowledgement from my family. I unlock my phone and open Instagram, a familiar form of self-sabotage. My thumb scrolls until I find my sister Camille's latest post, a picture of her, radiant at her piano recital last night. Her mother's comment appears first: "Our brilliant star. Your father and I couldn't be prouder of your magnificent performance." My father's follows: "That's my girl. Mozart himself would be jealous." A familiar tightness grips my throat. 30 years of this pattern, and it still stings. I close Instagram and flip to my camera roll, finding photos of the boutique hotel redesign I completed last month. The warm lighting, the seamless blend of modern luxury with historical elements, the project that earned me industry recognition and a substantial bonus. A tear splashes onto my screen, blurring the image of my greatest professional achievement. "No one's ever going to celebrate you," I whisper to myself, my voice small in my empty apartment. "Not the way they celebrate her." The memory surfaces. I'm 10 years old, dressed in a pink dress my grandmother sent for my birthday, waiting in the living room. "Hurry up, we can't be late for Camille's recital," Mom calls, rushing past without really seeing me. "But what about my party?" I ask, my voice barely a whisper. Dad pats my head absently. "We'll celebrate next weekend, kiddo." We never did. That was the first time I learned to fade into the background of my own life, to expect nothing and be grateful for less. To watch Camille shine while I stood in the shadows, clapping louder than anyone. I wipe away another tear, annoyed with myself. I'm 30, not 10. I should be over this. The cupcake sits untouched, its frosting slightly hardened. I reach for it, then stop. What exactly am I celebrating? Another year of invisibility? Another milestone spent alone while my family forgets I exist? No, not this time. I straighten my shoulders and open my laptop. My bank account balance appears, $97,342.16. The result of years of careful saving and the recent $68,000 bonus from the hotel project, money no one knows about because no one has asked. I stare at the numbers, my finger hovering over my phone. The thought that forms feels dangerous, reckless even. Yet, for the first time in hours, my heart beats with something other than disappointment. I press the call button. Seattle Audi. "This is Trevor speaking. How may I assist you?" a cheerful voice answers. "Hi," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. "I was wondering if you have any Q5s available?" "We certainly do. Several models, in fact. Were you thinking of coming in for a test drive?" I look at the untouched cupcake, the rain-streaked window, the phone that hasn't rung all day. "Actually," I say, feeling a new determination rise within me, "I'm thinking about buying one. Today." "Today?" Trevor sounds surprised. "Well, we're open for another hour. I'd be happy to start the paperwork if you're serious." "I am," I say, feeling a new determination rise within me. "I'm very serious." I end the call and stand up, catching my reflection in the window. For a moment, I hardly recognize myself, the straight spine, the lifted chin, the gleam in my eyes that looks almost like defiance. If they won't celebrate me, I tell my reflection, I'll celebrate myself. I grab my keys and wallet, leaving the sad cupcake behind. The rain has stopped, and somewhere beyond the clouds, there might even be stars. For the first time in 30 years, I'm going to give myself the gift I deserve. 40 minutes later, the Audi dealership gleams under spotlights. I push through the glass doors, my heart drumming a nervous rhythm against my ribs. A man in a crisp button-down approaches. "Welcome to Seattle Audi. I'm Trevor." His handshake is firm. "What brings you in this evening?" "I called earlier about the Q5, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. "I'd like to buy one today." Trevor blinks, surprise flickering across his face. "Of course, let me show you our selection." He leads me through a showroom of sleek vehicles. The midnight blue Q5 sits in the corner, almost watchful. I run my fingers along its glossy surface, seeing my reflection distorted in the paint, a woman with purpose in her step. "I can get the paperwork started if you'd like to test drive it first," Trevor offers. "No need," I straighten my shoulders. This is the one. In the finance office, a woman with silver-streaked hair slides forms across a polished desk. "How would you like to finance this purchase?" "I'll be putting down $60,000 cash," I say. "I'll finance the remainder." The finance manager's eyebrows rise slightly. "That's quite substantial. May I ask how you're employed, Miss Blake?" "Interior architect." I recently completed a boutique hotel redesign. I don't elaborate on the industry recognition or the bonus. Let them wonder. My signature looks foreign on the final papers, my hand trembling slightly despite my resolve. The key fob feels heavy in my palm, solid. Mine. Congratulations on your new Audi, Trevor says, walking me to my purchase. I catch my reflection again in the deep blue paint. The overhead lights create a halo effect around my figure. For a moment, I hardly recognize myself. There's something different about the set of my shoulders, the tilt of my chin. Back home, I park in front of my apartment building, unable to stop looking back at the car. It looks almost defiant under the streetlights. Inside, I pull out my phone and scroll to Instagram. My finger hovers over the camera icon before I grab my jacket and head back outside. This needs to be done right. 30 minutes later, I'm at Cary Park. The Seattle skyline stretches before me, the Space Needle illuminated against the night sky. I position my new Audi with the city lights as a backdrop, adjusting the angle until it looks perfect. The midnight blue exterior catches the glow of the city like a mirror. I take several photos, selecting the best one. The caption takes longer than the photo shoot. Finally, I settle on, "Happy birthday to me. Dream car, dream life." My finger hovers over "post" for a full minute. This isn't just about the car. It's a declaration. A statement about my worth that my family has never been willing to make. I press the button before I can change my mind. The notifications start almost immediately. Colleagues from the design firm, friends from college, former classmates. The likes accumulate, along with surprised comments. "Oh my God, Emery, what a beauty. Happy birthday. You deserve it." I savor a moment of vindication when my phone buzzes with a call. Mother. I stare at her name on the screen for 3 rings before answering. Emery Jean Blake, my full name. Never a good sign. Where did you get that kind of money? No. Happy birthday. No. How are you? Immediate suspicion. Hello to you, too, Mom. I lean against the Audi's hood, feeling its solid presence supporting me. I earned it. That car costs more than most people make in a year. Harold, come talk to your daughter about this car she's apparently bought. I hear rustling as the phone changes hands. Emery? Dad's voice carries the same tone he used when I was 16 and came home past curfew. Is this some kind of lease arrangement? Because financially this seems. It's mine, Dad. Paid mostly in cash. The words taste sweet in my mouth. From my bonus on the Fairmont project. Silence stretches between us. Well, his voice has shifted, unsure of its footing. That seems impulsive. My phone beeps with a text notification. Camille. I pull the phone away to glance at the preview. Wow. Didn't think you could afford something like that. Mom and Dad freaking out, lol. The family group chat explodes seconds later, messages piling up about my sudden extravagance and unexpected purchase. Not one message acknowledges what day it is. Mother's voice returns to the line. We need to discuss this as a family. Dinner. Tomorrow night. 6 o'clock sharp. Is this an invitation or a summons? I ask, surprising myself with my boldness. This is family, Emery. We're concerned. I glance at my watch. 9:43 p.m. My birthday is nearly over. Still unacknowledged. I'll be there, I say finally. But I'll be driving myself. After hanging up, I sit in my new car, hands resting on the premium leather steering wheel. The silence wraps around me like a blanket. Tomorrow will be a reckoning. But tonight is still mine. I start the engine and drive toward downtown. The streets are quieter now. I find a small bakery near Pike Place that stays open late. The bell tinkles as I push through the door. You caught us just before closing, a woman says, wiping down the counter. What can I get you? A birthday cake. The words come out softer than I intended. A small one. She shows me a simple chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. Any message? I hesitate only briefly. Happy birthday, Emery. From me to me. Her eyes meet mine with quiet understanding as she pipes the message onto the cake in elegant script. Hope it's a good one, she says, sliding the box across the counter. Back in the car, I place the cake carefully on the passenger seat. In the window reflection, I see a woman I'm just beginning to recognize, someone who has decided her own worth isn't up for debate anymore. The cake sits beside me like a passenger as I navigate the rain-slicked streets, heading home to finish celebrating the birthday no one else remembered. The next evening, the tires of my new Audi crunch on the familiar gravel driveway of my parents' Bellevue home. I park deliberately beside Dad's practical sedan, the contrast between our vehicles a physical manifestation of our differences. Through the large bay window, I catch their silhouettes, Mom, Dad, and Camille watching my arrival. Their expressions shift from judgment to surprise as they register the gleaming vehicle. I sit for a moment, hands still gripping the wheel. The cake box waits patiently on the passenger seat. A deep breath fills my lungs. 30 years of swallowed words press against my throat. Today is different, I whisper to my reflection in the rearview mirror. I gather the cake box and step out into the cool evening air. Mom opens the front door before I reach it. Emery. What a surprise. Her eyes dart past me to the Audi, then back to my face. Come in, dinner's almost ready. Dad stands in the foyer, arms crossed. That's quite a vehicle you've got there. Yes, I offer nothing more as I step inside, brushing past him with the cake box held carefully in front of me. Camille hovers nearby, curiosity battling with discomfort on her face. Hey, nice cat. The dining room looks the same as always, the polished maple table where we've celebrated countless milestones, most of them Camille's. Crystal glasses catch the light from Mom's prized chandelier. The table is set with the good china. Merlot? Mom offers, already pouring. Just water, thanks. I want a clear head for what's coming. Dad takes his seat at the head of the table. So, Emery, that car must have set you back. Financing these days is a trap, you know. I sit, pouring my water. No financing needed for most of it. The silence that follows feels physical. Mom fusses with serving the pot roast while Dad clears his throat repeatedly. Camille glances between us, sensing the undercurrents. The Thompson Hotel project must have gone well, Camille offers, reaching for the salt. It did. The client was very pleased. I cut a small piece of meat. Hotels are risky investments these days, Dad says. You should be putting money into your retirement. Harold, Mom warns quietly. What? I'm just saying what any responsible parent would. I continue eating methodically, letting his words wash over me. The same dismissal. Different day. I've heard variations of this lecture my entire life. My choice of university, too expensive. My apartment in the wrong neighborhood. My career, unstable. The dinner progresses with carefully navigated small talk. Not once does anyone mention my birthday. When we finish eating, I retrieve the cake box from the sideboard. The table falls silent as I set it in the center, directly under the chandelier. With deliberate movements, I open the lid. Happy birthday, Emery. From me to me, stares up at them in elegant script. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. Oh, Emery, we don't. My voice comes out steadier than I expected. For 30 years, my birthdays were forgotten, while Camille's moments were celebrated like royalty. Dad shifts uncomfortably. Now, that's not fair. Isn't it? I meet his gaze directly. My 16th birthday. You gave me a grocery store cake while Camille had a catered party with 50 guests for hers. My 20th birthday coincided with Camille's college graduation. You scheduled a family vacation to celebrate her and didn't include me. Camille's eyes widen. I never knew that. And this year, I continue, my voice gaining strength, complete silence. Not even a text message. The room stills. I stand straighter, shoulders back. I gave myself the gift I deserved, and I don't need anyone's approval. But $60,000 on a car? Dad's voice is gruff. It's irresponsible. Is it? I pause, letting the weight of my accomplishments sink in. The hotel project I just completed? The one none of you asked about? I transformed a struggling property into a destination, increasing their revenue by 35% and earning an industry award. And a $68,000 bonus. Mom gasped softly. That's my money. Earned through my talent and my hard work. After decades of being invisible in this family, I decided to finally recognize my own worth. Mom dabs at her eyes. We never meant to make you feel that way. It's not about intention, I keep my voice level. Though my heart pounds, it's about 30 years of consistent actions. It's about creating a family dynamic where one child matters and one doesn't. Dad stares at his plate, uncharacteristically silent. Camille reaches toward me, then pulls back. Éminence. I was so wrapped up in myself. In all the attention, I should have seen it. Yes, you should have, the words come out sharper than intended, but I don't apologize. But you're not the architect of this family structure. You just benefited from it. I turn back to my parents. I don't need you to suddenly start celebrating me. That ship sailed long ago. What I need is for you to understand that I now celebrate myself. I value myself. And I won't apologize for it. Dad clears his throat. Emery. Families are complicated. We've always been proud of you. Have you? I meet his gaze. When was the last time you came to one of my design showcases? When did you ever put a photo of my projects on the mantle alongside Camille's recital programs? Mom's tears fall freely now. Dad looks stricken. I stand, gathering my purse. I'm not asking for apologies or promises to change. I'm simply stating facts. The dynamic in this family has been unbalanced for 30 years, and I finally stopped accepting it as normal. I close the cake box, leaving it in the center of the table. Consider it my birthday gift to all of you. Raindrops scatter across my windshield like tiny diamonds. I guide my Audi through the quiet streets, fingers gripping the leather steering wheel. With each mile between me and my parents' home, the tightness in my chest loosens. For 30 years, my birthdays were forgotten while Camille's moments were celebrated like royalty. My voice hadn't trembled. Not once. When I reach my apartment building, I sit in the car for several minutes, watching raindrops race down the windshield. This car isn't just transportation, it's proof that I can give myself what no one else would. Inside my apartment, everything looks different somehow. The space feels charged with new energy. My phone buzzes. Then again. And again. I pour a glass of wine before checking the messages. 3 from Mom, 1 from Dad, 1 from Camille. Mom's first, we never meant to hurt you like that. You have to understand. Second, your father and I love both our girls equally. We always have. Third, please call me back. We need to talk about this as a family. Dad's is brief and awkward, family unity matters more than any misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? As if 30 years of pattern was just a simple mix-up. I take another sip of wine and open Camille's message, can we meet tomorrow? Just us. Coffee at Elm Street near Pike Place at 10. I stare at my sister's text for a long time. Finally, I type, I'll be there. To my parents, I send nothing. Morning brings a thin layer of fog. I arrive at the coffee shop 10 minutes early. Camille walks in 5 minutes late, her concert pianist posture unmistakable. Our eyes meet. Something in her expression makes my heart catch, vulnerability I've rarely seen in my perfect sister. I got you a latte, I say as she sits down. Eminence. Her voice breaks. Tears spring to her eyes. I was so wrapped up in my own life. The confession hangs between us. Did you really never notice? I ask, my voice softer than I intend. All those years? Camille looks down at her untouched coffee. I think I assumed you were fine with it. You were always there at my recitals. Cheering louder than anyone. She looks up, fresh tears spilling. But no one ever came to your architecture exhibits. Not even me. I never once stood up for you. Her voice steadies with determination. I was blind to my own privilege in our family. She reaches for my hand across the table. I let her hold it but say nothing. I'm so sorry, Emery, for simple words. Somehow they matter more coming from her. Later that week, my phone rings with Mom's number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something makes me answer. Emery, she says, her voice cautious. I was looking at your company website. The hotel redesign you did last year. It's beautiful. The compliment feels foreign. Dad calls the next day. That car, he says gruffly, it suits you. From him, it's practically a declaration of love. Camille texts more often now. She asks about my work. In family group texts, she makes a point of including me, correcting our parents when they fall into old patterns. I watch these small changes with caution. 30 years of habit don't transform overnight. But something has shifted. Like the first crack in a dam. In the quiet of my apartment, I run my fingers along the Audi key fob. I wonder if family relationships can truly change after decades of established patterns. The rain starts again, tapping against my windows. But tonight, it sounds like a pause. A week later, the rain taps a gentle rhythm against my windshield as I drive across Lake Washington toward Bellevue. My phone buzzes with another text from Mom. We're so looking forward to seeing you, sweetheart. Drive safely. The invitation had appeared 3 days ago. Special family dinner on Friday, Mom had said, her voice carrying an unusual note of hesitation. Nothing fancy, just the 4 of us. I turn onto my parents' block and spot something unexpected, balloons tied to the mailbox. Blue and silver balloons dancing in the breeze. A knot forms in my throat. I park behind Dad's truck and sit for a moment, gathering myself. Through the windshield, I watch Mom peek through the living room curtains. She waves, an attentive smile on her face. The front door opens before I reach it. Emery, Mom says, stepping forward to embrace me. Her hug lasts longer than usual. You look wonderful. Thanks, I say, following her inside. The house smells of roasting chicken and cinnamon. What's the occasion? Mom's eyes dart toward the dining room. Why don't you go see for yourself? I round the corner and stop cold. The dining room table gleams with the good china and crystal glasses. A vase of fresh flowers sits center stage beside a large white box from Macrina Bakery. Blue and silver streamers hang from the chandelier. Surprise, Dad says, rising awkwardly from his chair. Better late than never, I suppose. Camille steps forward from behind him. Happy belated birthday, Em. Dad gestures toward the cake box. Go ahead, he says, voice gruff with something that might be embarrassment. Open it. With numb fingers, I lift the lid. Inside sits a chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, written across the top in elegant blue script, Happy belated 30th birthday, Em. I know we can't undo the past, Dad continues, eyes fixed somewhere over my shoulder. But your mother and I have been doing some thinking. About how we've not been as attentive as we should have been. The understatement hangs in the air. 30 years of forgotten birthdays, overlooked achievements, reduced to not being attentive. Camille steps forward, pressing her gift into my hands. Open mind first. Inside the wrapping paper, I find a sleek black frame. Behind the glass is a professional photograph of the hotel lobby I redesigned. Beside the photo is the review from Seattle Architecture Monthly. I thought maybe you could hang it in your office, Camille says, watching my face. Thank you, I whisper, genuinely touched. This is perfect. We sit down to dinner. The conversation stilted, but sincere. Mom serves my favorite chicken marsala. Dad asks about my current projects with awkward interest. Camille fills silences with stories from her music studio. We wanted to make up for missing your birthday, Mom says as she serves the cake. The words catch me off guard. Dad nods, cutting into his slice. Your mother feels terrible about it. I set my fork down. It wasn't just my 30th birthday, Dad. The table goes quiet. Second place, I say quietly, or no place at all. The cake sits half-eaten on our plates as I continue. I appreciate tonight. But I need you to understand something. I'm not looking for make-up celebrations or guilt-driven attention. What I want is respect, recognition that I exist, that my achievements matter, that my presence in this family counts for something. Dad shifts in his chair. Of course, you count, Emery. You've always counted. Have I? I ask. When was the last time you came to one of my design exhibitions? Or asked about my career without me bringing it up first? Silence falls again, heavier this time. Things will be different now, Mom promises, reaching for my hand. I let her take it. Because I'm different. I decide my worth now. Not anyone else. The words hang in the air, not angry, just matter of fact. For the first time in my life, I feel the power shifting in this room. Fair enough, Dad says finally, nodding slowly. We've got some catching up to do. Camille raises her water glass. To new beginnings. And better birthdays? I lift my glass to meet hers, studying the faces around the table. My imperfect family. Trying their imperfect best to repair what they've broken. The cake tastes sweet on my tongue. Not perfect, but good enough. To new boundaries, I say, my voice strong. And to celebrate ourselves when no one else remembers, too. A year later, the gentle ping of my phone startles me awake. Happy birthday, Emery. Hope it's a good one. Simple. Straightforward. Completely unlike last year's deafening silence. More notifications appear. Mom sent flowers. Camille wants to take me to lunch. My colleagues have planned something at the office. I slide into my Audi, running my hand over the leather steering wheel. For a year now, this car has been my daily reminder of the moment I decided to value myself. Today, it carries me toward a birthday that others finally remember. At the design firm, my team surprises me with champagne and a towering chocolate cake. To Emery, my assistant, Ben, raises a toast, whose redesign of the Harborview Hotel just landed us the Westlake Tower contract. The client specifically requested you. The praise washes over me, and I accept it without deflection. Thank you all. I couldn't ask for better colleagues. Later, Camille meets me at our favorite waterfront restaurant. I reserve the table with the best view, she says, leading me to a window seat overlooking Elliott Bay. She hands me a small wrapped box. Inside rests a silver compass pendant. For the woman who found her own direction, the card reads. It's perfect, I say, genuinely touched. Camille reaches across the table. I've been thinking about what you said last year. About always being invisible. I never realized what it cost you to cheer for me all those years. I clasp the pendant around my neck. We can't change the past. No, she agrees. But I can do better now. After lunch, I drive to Cary Park Viewpoint. The Seattle skyline. The rain has finally let up, and the Seattle skyline is now a glittering mosaic of lights against the inky black of the sky. I sit on my sofa, a half-eaten chocolate cupcake on the coffee table beside a single flickering candle. It's my 30th birthday, and I'm alone. The phone hasn't rung all day. My parents, my sister, no one remembered. I check my phone, for the 10th time, a futile gesture that only serves to rub salt in the wound. There's a new Instagram notification. It's a photo from my sister, Jessica. She's at a piano recital, looking radiant, her fingers poised over the keys. The comments section is already a testament to her brilliance. Our star. Mom wrote. Your father and I couldn't be prouder. The same old story. 30 years of this. I close the app, my throat tightening, and scroll through my camera roll. A photo of my latest project, the renovation of a historic hotel, is at the top. The warm lighting, the intricate woodwork, the seamless blend of old and new, This project earned me a huge bonus and industry recognition. A single tear lands on the screen, distorting the image of my greatest achievement. I wipe it away with my sleeve. They'll never celebrate you, will they, Emma? I whisper to myself. Not the way they celebrate her. A memory surfaces, unbidden. Me, at 10 years old, waiting in the living room in a dress my grandmother had sent. My hair was carefully brushed, a smile plastered on my face. Hurry up, we can't be late for Jessica's recital. Mom had rushed past, not really seeing me. But what about my party? I'd asked, my small voice barely a whisper. We'll celebrate next weekend, kiddo, Dad had said, ruffling my hair. They never did. That was the first time I learned to fade into the background. I stand up and walk to my laptop, a new resolve hardening my expression. On the screen is my bank account, $97,342.16. That $68,000 bonus from the hotel project is in there, untouched, and my family doesn't even know it exists. My finger hovers over my phone. It's a dangerous thought, but for the first time all day, my heart beats with something other than disappointment. I dial a number. Seattle Audi. This is Trevor speaking. A cheerful voice answers. Hi, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. I'm calling about the Q5. I was wondering if you have any available. He sounds surprised. You're thinking of coming in for a test drive? I look at the untouched cupcake, the dark window streaming with rain. Actually, I'm thinking about buying one. Tonight. An hour later, I pull into the gleaming Audi dealership. The showroom floor sparkles under the spotlights. Trevor, a man with a practiced smile, greets me at the door. Welcome to Seattle Audi. What brings you in this evening? I'm here to buy a car, I say, my voice confident. He blinks, then smiles. He leads me to the midnight blue Q5. I run my hand along its surface. It feels solid, real. I'll get the paperwork started, Trevor says. I shake my head. No need for a test drive. This is the one. In the finance office, the manager asks how I'd like to pay. I'll be putting down $60,000, I say. The manager's eyebrows rise. That's quite substantial. May I ask what you do? Interior architect, I say, without elaborating. The finance manager types on her keyboard. My signature on the final papers is a little shaky, but my hand is firm when I take the key fob. It feels heavy, a tangible symbol of my new reality. Congratulations on your new Audi, Trevor says. I catch my reflection in the polished paint. The woman looking back at me has a straight spine, a lifted chin, and a gleam in her eyes that looks almost like defiance. If they won't celebrate me, I tell my reflection, I'll celebrate myself. I drive to the viewpoint at Cary Park. The Seattle skyline stretches before me, the Space Needle a beacon of light in the night. I position the Audi with the city as a backdrop, its midnight blue exterior glowing. I take a photo. For the caption, I type and delete. Finally, I settle on something simple, happy 30th to me. A little gift from me, to me. The notifications start pouring in almost immediately. Oh my God, Emma, what a beauty. Happy birthday, you deserve it. I'm basking in a moment of vindication when my phone buzzes with a call from Mom. Emma Jane Blake, she says, using my full name. Where did you get that kind of money? No birthday wishes, no, how are you? Just suspicion. I earned it, Mom. I lean against the solid hood of my new car. That car costs more than most people make in a year. Harold, come talk to your daughter about this car she's apparently bought. I hear the phone switch hands. Emma? Is this some sort of lease arrangement? Dad's voice has that same tone he used when I was a teenager and came home past curfew. It's mine, Dad. Paid mostly in cash. From my bonus on the Fairmont project. Silence. That seems impulsive. My phone beeps with a text from Jessica. Wow. Didn't think you could afford something like that. LOL, Mom and Dad are freaking out. The family group chat explodes with messages about my extravagant and unexpected purchase. Not one of them acknowledges what day it is. We need to discuss this as a family, Mom says, back on the line. Dinner. Tomorrow night. 6 o'clock sharp. I'll be there, I say, finally. But I'll be driving myself. I hang up and sit in my car, hands resting on the leather steering wheel. Tomorrow will be a reckoning. But tonight is still mine. I start the engine and drive toward downtown. I find a small bakery near Pike Place that's open late. A birthday cake, I say. A small one. The woman behind the counter shows me a simple chocolate cake. Any message? She asks. I hesitate for a moment. Happy birthday, Emma. From me to me. She smiles, her eyes full of a quiet understanding. Hope it's a good one. Back in the car, I place the cake carefully on the passenger seat. In the window, I catch my reflection. I hardly recognize the woman I've become. The cake sits beside me like a silent passenger as I navigate the rain-slicked streets, heading home to finish celebrating the birthday no one else remembered.